Haas TV unveiling that features a host of special guests and the airing of A&E's Duck Dynasty. We will have 4 press conferences this evening with some various special guests, beginning with our first discussing the construction and unveiling of the world's largest high-definition LED screen that was created by Panasonic. Joining us tonight is Speedway Motorsports Inc. Chairman Bruton Smith, SMI President Marcus Smith, Texas Motor Speedway President Eddie Gossage, and our special guest Panasonic Vice President Richard Ballard. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. I guess we could start with Bruton and just tell us how this all came about. I know, Eddie wanted to push this and he wanted to have a big screen here in Texas, and how'd that all go down?
Well, naturally, we had other things to do, but under Eddie Gossage's persistence and always wanting to do something bigger in Texas, and he wanted to completely outdo another TV screen here in Texas. And I received too many phone calls from Eddie, and finally I decided I better just surrender and go with what he wants, or I'm not going to get any peace. So I finally, I caved in. That's what happened.
Because that's your personality.
Well, that's me. I just, after so much pressure, you can only stand so much. And thank you, Eddie, for the pressure.
Eddie, thoughts on the big screen? You got to see it now after 4 months of construction. Quite impressive, and like you talked about, it's a huge fan amenity for our fans here in Texas and surrounding areas.
It's exciting to get to tonight. Honestly, it's been a few years, a couple of years that we've been working on this, and I'm not just saying this because Bruton's sitting here, but we're blessed that the company sees the benefit to doing this and gives us the support here at Texas to do these kinds of things. I also have to give Marcus Smith credit because not only is he president of Speedway Motorsports, but he's president of Charlotte Motor Speedway, which currently has the largest screen in the world. And it just hasn't certified this yet.
Well, that's true. I can unofficially certify it.
So, but your screen.
I'm the real winner in all of this.
That's right. That's right.
Your screen in Charlotte is 180.
It's 180 feet wide, and I'm sorry, 200 feet wide and 80 feet high, and it's fantastic. It has changed the fan experience at Charlotte Motor Speedway, as it will here in Texas. And I'm thrilled to see it tonight. As soon as I got to Speedway today, we finished lunch over at Babe's and headed right over here. The first thing I did was go look at the screen, and it looks fantastic.
But to his credit, when we first talked about it, I of course rolled out a plan that had a 400-foot wide screen, and Bruton rolled it up, and he said, do it just like Charlotte's, and Marcus said, no, it needs to be bigger. It needs to be, the next big one. And so that was him wearing his President of Speedway Motorsports hat, not his President of Charlotte Motor Speedway hat, and I thought that was a lesson that was really impressive, and it was a meeting we had in Las Vegas, and so my hats off to him too. But so it's good working with and for people like this.
A quick question for Richard. 4 months ago, we broke ground on this project. At times, you would figure there's no way you could get this done in 4 months. It's a behemoth of a project. Tell us about the workload for your folks and kind of how that all works in terms of, what has to be done and how you guys figure out the timeline of 4 months.
Well, it was a condensed schedule. First and foremost, I want to thank Mr. Smith, Marcus, and Eddie for having the opportunity to create their vision, because these are the leaders of sport who believe in fan experience and invest in fan experience. By giving the fans here at Texas Motor Speedway the ultimate visual experience when they come here. And so when you're here, not only tonight, but April 4th, 5th, and 6th, so make sure everybody gets their tickets, that you will see a visual experience in racing once you come to Texas Motor Speedway. That's not that you will have to have this every time you go to a NASCAR track. So the leaders and innovators are right here in all of sports, not just in racing, but in all of sport. To answer directly your question, I'm privileged to work with wonderful people at Panasonic. Some of the best people I've ever been around, and I've worked for a few companies. But these folks are professional, some of the most talented engineers, architects in the business, and we have a great team. As a matter of fact, one of our members, Royce Wall, literally has lived here at the courtesy of Mr. Smith, Marcus, and Eddie. Literally lived out in Turn 2 for the entire time. He was here all but except 3 days of Christmas. And that's the dedication of the people that we have. We also have our Panasonic experiences. Not only will you see the size of the screen, but it's one of the most powerful broadcast screens that's in sport. Pretty much any screen in the world. Because the gentleman, the Panasonic experiences, the gentleman, Michael Roach, our director, he also creates the content in collaboration with the Texas Motor Speedway staff, collaboration on the content, as well as he produces the show and directs the show. So on April 4th, 5th, and 6th, you can come out and you can see the type of production that they've created with our good friends here at Texas Motor Speedway.
You've got another project going on right now, in addition to completing Big Hoss here. Tell us
Yes,
about
we
that real
did.
quick. Please.
Yeah. Well, we're also building another screen at Churchill Downs. Churchill Downs Racing has contracted us. It'll be unveiled at the Kentucky Derby. So for all you horse racing fans, they were inspired, candidly, they were inspired by the screen at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Marcus, Mr. Smith, and the folks at Charlotte Motor Speedway were kind enough to help us show the vision to the racing industry for horse racing. So when you get put on your schedule, come first weekend, first Saturday in May, you'll be able to see an outstanding board at Churchill Downs. Thank you, Eddie, for bringing that up.
And I can tell you that there is another, I'm not going to tell you who, I'm not going to tell you what sport, venue operator who is here and has been grilling me all day long about Panasonic and what it's like to work with them and all those good things. And they are here watching today and tonight. You don't sell these things off the shelf. You don't have to sell a lot of these.
I was going to suggest, don't tell them anything.
They go to shop.panasonic.com to get one for your backyard. That'd be kind of hard to do.
But there are other venue operators that are looking at this, and the Panasonic business continues to grow because of the success they had in Charlotte with us, Churchill Downs, so on and so forth. And you just also were going to do Phillies, the Lincoln Field?
We're doing Lincoln Financial Field
sorry,
for the
Eagles.
Philadelphia Eagles. We're in the process of completing that. That'll be completed by the end of June for the Eagles season, kicking off the preseason in August.
You're
Thank
busy.
you for mentioning this. Well, thanks to you gentlemen. Candidly, in the vision that Mr. Smith and you had a long time ago with our president Jim Doyle and our chairman Joe Taylor, this was not an easy task to do. The first one, Mr. Smith, as you well know, and it was your vision.
I remember that one.
I think you do. And we appreciate that because it really launched us at another level inside this industry. So we're very grateful for all of that.
Since he's here, I'll get some help. But, you know, building one of these giants, particularly here in Texas, or most anywhere you are, you have to remember the wind load. These things are huge, and they take tremendous wind. There's enough wind there collected, you can move most any kind of ship in that kind of wind. But what we are doing, we do not want to wake up one morning and maybe that is laying on the ground. So we engineered this. Hopefully that will never happen because it is designed for 130-mile-an-hour wind. So if something drastic should happen to it, just remember it was a tremendous wind because we went down into bedrock, and I don't know how much concrete your company poured on here, but it is built to withstand those kind of things, and so hopefully we'll never have a problem with it.
We won't.
Quick note before we go to a question, Bruton mentioned about the weather. They also tested it for hail, which we're all familiar with here in Texas, and they actually hit golf balls into the LEDs to make sure that it would not physically damage them, and it was quite successful. And next time you want to do it, I'll unveil it when we do it. We'll open for questions. Richard?
We got a mic. We're going to bring you a mic.
Eddie, you mentioned improving this for fans, what it means for fans. Talk about what it will do for the fan experience here.
Everybody in sports is competing with the ever-improving technology that we all put into our houses with home theater. And, you know, this is a big place. You could be watching somebody race down turn 1 and 2, and something occurs up in turn 3 and you completely missed it. You could miss a moment on pit road. Now with the big screen, you're not going to miss a thing. You're going to see the replays, you're going to see the up-close tight shots. I know Michael Roca and his crew will be cutting the race a little differently than what you see at home because of your unique needs in the stadium. And so the fans won't miss a thing. And our intent, our hope is that those people that are possibly considering, well, maybe I'll stay at home, I'll watch it on television. There's nothing like attending. We all know that. Nothing like attending a live sporting event, but this means you don't miss a thing. And it's just, to me, it's the ultimate fan amenity. And to have the biggest one in the world, that's just another one of those everything's bigger in Texas stories that we're really proud to be a part of. So it's, the picture is phenomenal to be that big, to be that crisp. Let me impress you with this knowledge. The pixel pitch is 16, like this, 16 millimeters apart, which means the closer together those pixels are, LEDs.
Yep, closer together.
The closer together they are, the sharper the picture. And so at 16 millimeters, that's the same as Cowboy Stadium, for instance. That's a great screen. We all know how crisp that picture is. You're going to see the same thing here, only by being a little bit further away, it becomes even more in focus. So it is crystal clear, as you'll see later tonight when Bruton turns it on.
Eddie, this two things. How much was it? And do you think this being as big as it is will allow you to recruit other events outside of just your auto races?
Let me answer the second one first. Yes, I can tell you that there is a producer of a large event that is here tonight to see Big Hoss in all its glory. And when we announced in September we were going to build this screen, got a telephone call, said, let's look at possibly putting this event at Texas Motor Speedway. And again, I don't want to get into what it is, but it's going to open the doors to other kinds of events. The Red Bull Air Race coming up in September, they are beside themselves over the ability to put it on the big screen. Now, their only concern they have is they don't want to fly into it. And if you haven't seen what the Red Bull Air Race is all about, you need to check that out. It's amazing. Airplanes running 300 miles an hour, racing 30 feet off the ground. And they have to work their way around Big Hoss and the condos and things like that. Pretty amazing. But those are the kinds of things that will open the door to down the road. As far as how much did it cost, a lot. And, but we got the 12-month warranty thing over at Best Buy that goes with it, so maintenance is covered. So we're in good shape.
Hawk?
I guess I could ask Richard how much you billed him for it, but Richard, you know, we talked about how big these screens are, and of course, you know, Charlotte had a big one, now Texas has a bigger one, and obviously somebody's going to want a bigger one. What's the potential of how big these things can be and still be viable?
I kind of reference it as a right sizing, much like we right size, I put it a little differently. When you go and you look and you go to shop.panasonic.com and you buy your TV, you're going to look in your room, in your family room, you're going to right size and say, I need a 42 or a 55. We do the same thing here. Eddie's visual of this was not necessarily to set a world record, he did, because it's such a massive facility. So you right size, and I always reference it as, we right size it in a live event venue is a living room, so to speak. And you can make them as big as you want. There's no limit to how big you can make one. As Mr. Smith said, the only thing you really need to be concerned about are winds. So if you can go as deep as you want to go, as you can go high. But there's no limit to the size, but there's no real reason to oversize. If you were in your family room, you oversize with the light's going to blind you. Same thing here, but I think we've right-sized with the help of the folks at Texas Motor Speedway. This is a right-sized venue. as most of our venues, we like to right size first and then go from there. And if it just happens to be a world record, happens to be a world record.
Richard, I just noticed you mentioned Churchill Downs.
Yes, sir.
I'm assuming that's a small screen because the race only lasts about 2 minutes. So you don't need a large one.
Well, that's where good salesmanship comes in, Mr. Smith. Once I hear you.
But,
I had to sell them a big one.
yeah, but at the time you turn it on and you look there twice, it's gone.
And they're gone. Well, the replay for the rest of the afternoon for the Montouls. That's the idea.
Okay, so if I attend this year, and I could expect it to last 2 minutes.
They say it's the fastest, or what is the motto they have? It's the fastest 2 minutes in sport.
Huh. But those horses only go about 35 miles an hour.
Yes, sir. I understand.
The lack of horsepower.
Versus 750 horsepower, one of your carriages, right?
850.
850, I'm sorry.
850, yeah.
That would be corrected. I'm a little old school.
I wanted to add something before they turn me off here, and that is what we do in racing is we continually, and maybe we put this on you too often, but you're going to hear it more and more and more, and that is fan friendly. We want to go to the extreme on being fan friendly. I hope you notice that all of our speedways, we go to an extreme and spend a lot of money on being fan friendly. And this is a giant step in that direction. And I hope that all of you appreciate what we're doing along that line.
Talk about putting your money where your mouth is.
That's it, boy.
That's it.
That's right. And that's the only limit to how big you can build them.
Yeah,
Money.
money. You gotta follow the money.
Next question. In the back.
Anthony. How you doing, Anthony? Not a split squad game for you to cover today? Sorry, go ahead.
Eddie, on the production on this kind of stuff, will there be, is it live all the time, or will there be commercials? Will y'all be able to scroll that at the bottom, or how will y'all do the production in-house for people here?
During the race, there won't be 30-second commercials and things of that nature. Our sponsors, and right now I believe there are 4 that we sold on the screen, will come in the form of graphics, leaderboards, things of that nature. Marcus can perhaps explain it a little bit because they've had greater experience with it in Charlotte, but we don't have timeouts and half times and things of that nature, so we don't want to interrupt the action. When the network goes to a commercial, we've still got our cameras. We're going to get, I want to say, 14 camera feeds from the television network, and then we have several more ourselves, including some long lens stuff from the roof and things of that nature. And we'll continue to show the race on the big screen, but it won't be it will not be interrupted by television commercials. And maybe you can shed some light on that, Marcus.
Sure. The great thing about what having this video board is going to do for Texas Motor Speedway is the fans are going to be engaged like never before with a main focal point that they can go to for all of the excitement that they're going to see. You're going to have the race in front of you. You're going to have a pre-race in front of you. You're going to have all of the different parties that Eddie and the crew at Texas Motor Speedway put on throughout a race weekend, but they're going to have this constant reference point in Big Hoss that's going to provide a live, bigger-than-life HD look into whatever the hottest action is at that time. As far as advertisers, you can go with graphics, you can share experiences with the best camper decorating area, or people that have, say, the most creative way of displaying their Dasani bottles and what have you. We found a lot of creative ways to integrate sponsors into the weekend, and the best ones are really the ones that integrate the fans into some fun element of those things. But if all up on the production end, if you think about during a race, if you're at home, the producer has to deliver to you what it feels like to be at the race. When you're here at the track, we're going to focus on what it feels like to be in the car. So a fan is already at the race. They can see it, they can feel it, they can hear it. But when you've got the biggest TV in the world right in front of you, you can watch the cars as they come in front of you through the front stretch into turn 1, and then the producer can throw the shot to an in-car look of what it feels like to be Jeff Gordon or Dale Earnhardt Jr. going through turn 2, and who knows what happens next. It is an amazing feeling that you're only going to be able to get when you're right here at the track, hearing it, feeling it, and seeing it all right in front of you. It's going to be really amazing.
Technology,
I'm sorry.
technology also opens some doors for us. I can see some opportunities, for instance, with Google Glass. Crew members, fans, we've had some discussion about that kind of production as well. So there's so many things that you can do with it. You're just kind of limited only by your imagination, because technology is kind of further ahead of us. So it's an exciting, creative tool.
Can you give them a brief overview of them? We're going to have 19 cameras, you're going to have a play-by-play crew. It's going to change the dynamics at track as well for fans from a play-by-play perspective.
It will, and you know, there is a play-by-play that will be broadcast on both FM radio and on the scanners. As you know, a lot of fans have the scanners with them, and they'll be able to listen in to the play-by-play that matches up to the screen, as opposed to what you're seeing on television or hearing on the radio at home or in the car, and things of that nature. And then I think Ziz wanted me to tell you some quick facts. I think 220 feet by 100 feet is roughly the size. 14 million LED lamps, create 281 trillion different colors. I counted them. And it is truly an engineering marvel that they put together at Panasonic. So it's as big as, I think you've seen some of those graphics, 9 Alamos. It's as big as the Lincoln Memorial. It is a huge, huge item over there. And I think some of you were up there a few weeks ago, and we had a construction tour of it. And you know, it's just amazing when you get up next to it and see those I-beams are this big. It's just a phenomenal device. It is a 12-story building with these modules mounted on the side.
Movies? Any movies?
Yeah. So, no, we're gonna, I think Charlotte has done movies.
We do drive-in movies in Charlotte occasionally. We have a special, during our Christmas light show, we run Christmas movies that everybody can camp out for, and you'll get a feel for it tonight when we turn the screen on and how that can come to life, and really be a lot of fun for everybody that joins in.
And it's one of the reasons we're showing Dynasty tonight, so you can see what a movie would look like when it's up there. But we've already got clients that have, we do a big business with track rentals, that simply want their logo up there all day long while they're here doing an event. Other clients that want to do production that is on that screen while they're here holding their events. So there's a whole lot of different kinds of things that we can do on that screen outside, above, and beyond the races.
Richard, thank you for your partnership with Speedway Motorsports. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us, and enjoy tonight's festivities.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.